The role of the Cameroonian Police Corps to curb the possession of these weapons has been held at an event attended by officials of the United Nations Disarmament Unit. The actions of the police and efforts to implement the 2016 law regulating the circulation of arms in the country were highlighted. Charles Bonnet reports on the event.
One of the key institutions to collect from the hands of individuals with roughly 40 million illegally owned weapons in Africa is the police.
It is important to recall that this working session is opening at a period when one person dies every single minute in the world due to the wrong use of small and light weapons.
The exchange between the police and the United Nations officials plus disarmament experts falls within the framework of the Amnesty Month to equip them with knowledge.
This workshop is one of a series of activities that will be conducted in 7 countries that have demonstrated interest in the implementing of the 2020 Africa Amnesty Month.
The other security team to collect the guns and silence them for peace to reign in Africa are the military and the gendarmerie forces. The gathering at the police school Yaoundé was just one of the many events marking the launch of the Amnesty Month in Cameroon.
In our top story, Cameroon's elections governing body, ELECM, has re-established 3 lists of candidates vying for the December 6th regional election. During the 4th session, as of right, the chairperson of the electoral board of ELECM, Eno Abrams Egbe, outlined that focus will be on adopting resolutions that reinstate, disqualify or correct clerical errors. This in conformity with the rulings of the administrative courts. Beatrice Losamba has the details.
Following rulings of the Administrative Court on pre-election disputes, the members of the Electoral Board of Elections Cameroon had to meet urgently to adopt the resolutions. Thus, the holding of this 4th session, as of right, less than a week after the last session.
We have a total of 10 cases. 93 resolutions that will be rehabilitated, 1 list of political party and 2 lists of traditional chiefs.
Corrections will also be made on 2 lists submitted by 2 political parties and 4 lists of representatives of traditional rulers. 1 list of a political party that was initially accepted by the Electoral Board has been disqualified. The members of the Electoral Board are also discussing material preparations which are said to be well on course.
The electoral cards, the printing of ballot papers, the polling stations, things are going very smoothly.
1 month to the start of the campaigns, ELECM is looking next to start field trips to sensitize actors in the election train.
Campaigns for the regional council election will begin in 1 month, and political parties as well as traditional rulers are working on how to woo the electorate. Strategies are also being finalized on the means to raise funds to finance the operation. But who are those shortlisted for the race? Ebenezer Akanga says it is a blend of renowned figures and new-timers in the political arena.
Campaigns for the first ever regional council elections in Cameroon will begin on the 21st of November 2020. 1 month to the start of campaigns, political parties and candidates who will run for the elections are finalizing their campaign strategies and how to raise funds to finance the campaigns. The FDC will compete in 3 constituencies of the Central region, namely Mfundi, Leki, and Nyonganso.
Last Sunday, we validated the content of our manifesto, which contains our vision of local development, decentralization, and relations between the council and the region.
There will be stiff competition for representatives of traditional rulers in Fundi division as 2 lists are in contest.
My list mate and I are holding informal encounters on the strategies we will put in place. These encounters are also to reflect on our campaign messages.
Even in Mayo-Dana division of the Far North region, where the CPDM is standing alone for the election of delegates of divisions, the candidates are preparing to carry out intense campaigns.
We, the candidates, are consulting on a permanent basis among ourselves and also with officials of our party.
du parti.
Campaigns for the regional council elections are therefore promising to generate very exciting moments.
In our newsroom this year, we take interest in the over 2,050,000 Americans who will in 2 weeks go to the polls to elect a president. The choice will either be on incumbent Republican Donald Trump or the Democratic candidate Joe Biden. Charles Ebonena profiles the two contestants competing to occupy the White House as President of the United States of America for the next 4 years.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe, I've done more in 47 months.
The Pepsi of American politics, the Democrats, symbolized by Joe Biden. The Coca-Cola of American politics, the Republicans, symbolized by Donald Trump. All parents aged above 70 years, there are two visions of Pax Americana, especially in foreign policy, where former Vice President Joe Biden is more of a Rooseveltian, that is engagement, and Trump more of a Harding College, that is global disengagement.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
The former Vice President represents roughly 40 years of political experience with a liberal ticket on abortion, health care, and profound belief on science for solutions on issues like climate change and the coronavirus pandemic.
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but
I'm not going to answer the question.
Why wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
The question is...
The president is a former business mogul with a conservative cloak on Christianity, justice, immigration, and a fine tax cutter, according to his admirers. Trump and Joe are two Americans seeking to govern America from the White House, having two different styles with same content.
The outcome of the American presidential election will have a direct toll on Africa, given the political, economic and cultural ties the U.S. enjoys with independent African countries. Although the U.S. foreign policy focuses on security, immigration controls and trade expansions, the contending candidates have their interests centered more on local economy and COVID-19. Constantine Baum reports that Africans, however, closely follow the campaign and have their expectations.
The election comes in 2 weeks. Republicans and Democrats have been busy hitting each other in various debates. As this unfolds, Africans have been monitoring to find out where Africa stands in the respective policies pushed forward by the candidates.
The main topic that hijacked the campaign was coronavirus, principally. Coronavirus has hijacked the American election in such a way that all other topics have become dwarfed vis-à-vis coronavirus.
Even though the candidates talk less about Africa, Africans are watching and have an interest in the election.
Africa has a place. 12% of the American population has roots from Africa, meaning the black Americans or the African Americans. And they constitute 12% of the electorate. That amounts to about 50 million persons.
Experts see a natural link between America and Africa, which has to do with its history as well.
The Americans have a preponderant voice in world and global structures that Africa depends on, including the World Bank, the IMF, the United Nations. America is a potential source of foreign direct investment.
This means that Africa in general has an interest in knowing and following up what is happening in America.
In development news, maintenance work on the Yaoundé-Douala Highway has been assessed by the Minister of Public Works. Emmanuel Ngano-Jumesi was on the stretch to make an evaluation of the advancements of the project discharged by the Ministry's Special Brigade of Engineers. Details with Joyce Kimbe-Fuaju.
It's receiving a faced lift, the deteriorating Yaoundé-Douala Highway, horizontal sign mappings and spotlights being planted to clear the night. The works are executed by engineers from the Ministry of Public Works. Roadside clearing and 127 potholes have already been filled by the ministry's blow patcher.
Presently, we are filling potholes and we are doing a roadside clearing, which we call cantonnage. This roadside clearing consists of 11 different tasks. We clean the gutters, we do the felling of trees, as you are seeing, we do pruning of trees, we clean culverts, and we do clearing of the roadside.
Highway users are already counting their gains.
It's very good because last time we were passing here, the road was very close. So now the road is open, now we can run very well.
The works are very good. The road is now very nice.
The project covers a distance of 105 kilometers, with 46 kilometers already secured and maintained. The engineers were tasked by the visiting Minister of Public Works to meet up with the 3-month deadline.
A delegation of the Employers Guilds, GCAM, has been deliberating on how to improve on the economy of the country affected by the coronavirus pandemic. They were received in audience by the Minister of Finance, Louis Paul Mutaze. It was occasion for the President of GCAM, Celestine Tawamba, to present what is termed the White Book of GCAM, which provides possibilities governments can explore to enable enterprises rebound in spite of the pandemic. In other news, a cocoa treatment excellence center in Ginda 1 in Upper Sanaga division of the Central region has been inaugurated. It was commissioned by the Minister of Trade, Luc Magloire Mbaga Tangana, who called on producers to ensure that their yields meet international standards. Clarisse Arita can report that it was in the presence of the Club of Chocolate Makers of France.
The creation of the Post-Harvest Excellence Center is in line with steps taken to ensure that most of the cocoa beans which come from Cameroonian farms are of premium quality. It is on this basis that growers will be able to get a return on their investment, as was highlighted during the unveiling of the structure.
You have the press, is the first aspect, the press. And I should say that they are proud of what they are doing. They are proud to see that our buyers are satisfied and happy.
The exercise was another motivational seed for French chocolate makers whose search for raw materials which meet their standards led them to Cameroon.
The most important is fermentation. Post-harvesting is a key factor because the customer will feel that there is a special flavor in the chocolate.
For cocoa producers of Ginda 1 in the Upper Sanaga division of the Central region, a treatment center which guarantees the quality of their produce is a call to do bigger and better for the growth of what is the sole source of livelihood for many.
Onto this disturbing phenomenon that threatens peace, a group of armed youth have been causing terror in the city of Douala, looting and assaulting victims on a daily basis. These delinquents, termed microbes by the population, have been operating with impunity and are yet to be apprehended by the forces of law and order. Veronica Benyala reports on their modus operandi and actions needed to stop their intimidation.
The first attack of the so-called microbe in the city of Douala dates back to 2015. Then, their area of operation was generally the various neighborhoods of New Bell. As time went by, they shifted into Bonapriso and Gange. Their activities are so violent that many of their victims are too afraid to testify on camera. However, fingers are being pointed at several groups of young men who have risen above the law and have been creating havoc in several neighborhoods in broad daylight and in all impunity. They are said to come in organized bands, usually as from 6 p.m., moving on the street, attacking passers-by, shops and homes. They seize property, beat, stab, and create an atmosphere of general terror. Their recent atrocities have moved to Ndokoti and Dedo, action that has prompted the youths of Dedo to stand up for the defense of their neighborhood. Expert opinion indicates that armed gangs are a common phenomenon in big cities. Nevertheless, it can only take roots and build momentum if not addressed properly and on time by authorities. Reason why the governor of the littoral region, Mr. Samuel Dieudonné Ivara Diboa, held a meeting this week to address the issue. The governor has given his word that all those gangs will be dismantled and peace, security and order will reign in Douala.
It is hoped that members of this gang will be arrested and that peace reigns once again in the littoral region. In health news, the COVID-19 riposte strategy in the southwest region has been bearing fruits as there is a remarkable drop in the number of infections. Thanks to sensitization, the population remains conscious of the presence of the virus and is vigilant to halt its spread. Annabelle Eno Ndike Anyang reports on this evaluation made by health experts.
Since the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country, the Southwest region has recorded 810 active cases with 742 recoveries and 37 deaths. So far, there is a drastic reduction of the transmission of COVID-19 in the region.
We are having on the average 10 positive cases per week as opposed to 140 in June.
Aims at assessing the level of infected cases in the region.
We are interested to see within our population and the various subgroups of our population whether they are harboring the disease or the virus or not. In the days ahead, our teams will be going to the field.
The Chief of Service for the Economy, Cultural and Social Affairs at the Governor's Office urged the population to carry out the COVID-19 test as well as to respect measures put in place by the government in order to eradicate the spread of the virus.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
At slightly over 7:50, the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, has published a health protocol to be respected by all football officials during the COVID-19 period. As more and more footballers are tested positive, what options are available for unperturbed competitions? Baldwin Sama and his guest, Professor William Gachu, at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, provide clarifications. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Esther Kmer. It is no longer a surprise. It is what we witness on a daily basis. Footballers who are tested positive for COVID-19. How are they managed? How are they taken care of? We discussed that tonight with the team doctor of Cameroon's Indomitable Lions, Professor William Gachu. Prof, good evening.
Good evening, Tama.
Tell us, Prof, when a footballer, for example, we had cases of Indomitable Lions like Andrew Nana, Kunde Malong, who were tested positive for COVID-19. When a player is tested positive for COVID-19, how is he taken care of?
The regulation now is when a player is detected positive, has to be directly put in isolation. That be a quarantine for at least 3 days.
And what about close contacts? How to avoid or how to manage close contacts during this particular period among the players, especially those who are COVID-19 positive?
Close contact, that means have been in contact with a positive case during 15 consecutive minutes without respecting the distance of 1.5 meters. The player have to be also put in quarantine, and the number of days and the condition of this quarantine are determined by the host country.
Thank you so much, Professor William Gachu. We remind our viewers that you are the team doctor of Cameroon's Indomitable Lions. There is a particular way, or there are some measures that must be respected by all the players who are tested positive for COVID-19, especially the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, given that they have 2 upcoming matches this month of November. Back to you, Esther Kmer.
Thanks, Baldwin, for details on the health protocol published by FIFA. And from COVID-19 and sports to COVID-19 and education, as the academic year in institutions of higher learning hits the rails, the practice of e-learning is being encouraged to minimize the spread of the coronavirus. This requires tools like a personal computer, mobile phones, a large random access memory, and even a browser. Cynthia Saptala taught some universities to investigate on the availability of these devices. Here's a report.
A mobile phone or personal computer, 2 GB of RAM, any browser, a working camera, microphone, earphones, and solid internet connection. These are the basic tools technicians say are needed for successful e-learning. On the ground at the University of Yaoundé too, the online registration of students with phones was indication that some of the needed equipments are available.
Radio dispositif that measure reduce the number of students in the class. Inside the campus, there are some places where you have internet.
At the University of Yaoundé 1, this is the room from which several server programs on campus are run. For e-learning here,
we have put in place Google Classrooms. We have used Google Platform for online courses, and we have developed an online platform.
COVID-19 has imposed such changes, and for the effective implementation of the e-learning process, some institutions may still need to obtain some more of the devices needed.
In the basic and secondary education sectors, 3 weeks into the reopening of the school year, the respect for barrier measures is rapidly becoming a habit. The implementation of the two-shift system, the provision of soap and water, plus the wearing of face masks are common to find. Gilbert Ongene was at the government bilingual high school Essos and now reports.
The law gives a maximum of 2 weeks for all students expected to occupy a given classroom to start classes or face expulsion.
At the start of the third week into the school year, we are making control checks to ensure that the students that we had partitioned, 50 maximum per class, that they are all there. And those who we have noticed that are not there, the disciplinary council can sit and decide.
This category of learners are mostly former students of a school promoted to a higher class.
Students are children with parents, and so when these parents are transferred, definitely would have to move their kids. Those who are not there, probably we should give chances to those who intend to seek education.
Those who have not shown up this far will surely face the music once the disciplinary council sits as prescribed by the ministerial circular of 1993.
Promote 2021 is already being prepared as the president of the foundation mandated to organize the fair has been meeting trusted partners. Pierre Zumbak was granted audience by CRTV's Director General Shaun Dongo and discussed on the exhibition, which had been postponed from February this year to next year due to the COVID-19 health crisis. Joyce Tata reports on the exchange.
For an expected revival of Cameroon's economy, the organizers of Promote 2021 reveal it will hold from April 24 to May the 2nd, 2021 at the Yaoundé Conference Center. An important information which the president of the foundation came personally to disclose to his media partner, one at the heart of the nation.
The innovation this year is in connection with the current need. The need of an enterprise changes daily, so we need to evolve too. Such an event is to give more persons courage in this pandemic era.
An occasion for CRTV's boss to reaffirm the enterprise's commitment to ensure her various media platforms covers the week event. Aside from discussions on Promote 2021, the delegation also announced Yafe 2020 to begin from December 18 to January 3, 2021.
On today's advertorial, the Cameroon Petroleum Depots Company, SDP, is ensuring safety and security within its structures. The forum is a workshop organized in Yaoundé where stakeholders were schooled on safeguarding petroleum product supplies in Cameroon. Details with Kolejani.
The traditional workshop by the Cameroon Petroleum Depots Company, better known in its French acronym as SCDP, brought together 13 managers and top management of the company to deliberate on the stakes and challenges involved in safeguarding petroleum product supplies.
The objective of the workshop is to give some guidelines to all the staff. You know, SCDP is located all over the country. Every year we have this meeting. Just because of the pandemic, we did not have time to do it. This is why before the end of the year, we have this meeting, then to give some instruction and to make sure, to be sure that we'll not have problem because it's the end of the year. You have safe product all over the country.
Opening the 4-day workshop, the Minister of Water and Energy, Gaston Elundo Esomba, called on the stakeholders present to ensure the security and availability of petroleum products across the country.
We need to secure all our storage. This is why security is very, very important for us. I'm taking this opportunity to ask people around our depot to be very careful, because it's a dangerous. We don't need to play with hydrocarbons product. You need to be very far from those products. It can cause a lot of damage, as you know about what happened 98 in Sam. We need to avoid this kind of problem.
Created in 1979 to ensure availability of petroleum products and promote economic development in Cameroon, SDP is the sole company that stores and distributes petroleum products in the country.
Elections Cameroon is adopting resolutions to reinstate candidates and to correct clerical errors for the December 6th regional election. The campaign begins in 1 month, and tonight we profile the prominent figures vying for the poll as well as their winning strategies. Your host at 8:30 p.m. will be Adel Mbala. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching and stay safe from the coronavirus. Good night.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing